Hey, Nick.
Hey, Chase.
It's that time again.
What time is it?
Time for
Fuck This Place!
It looks like bunk beds slightly for a second every time you kind of drift over. And I want it to be, but I know it's not.
It's like a coat rack. It's like I live in kind of like an attic.
You got a sloped roof.
It's like an
here?
A-frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a good old A-frame, top of the house kind of business. Which is perfect for me because I'm short. So I feel like other people, I don't even realize that the roof is thing until someone comes in my room and they're like, "Ow," and I'm like, "Sorry."
Yeah, you can walk all the way to the wall.
Kind of.
You're living in like the room of my like teenage dreams. I always wanted to live in an attic with a
I
sloped
feel
roof.
like I live
Arnold.
in a Netflix teen's bedroom, except I'm a grown adult. And it's like, I feel like this room would be so cool to have, like, as a teen, or maybe even, like, your early 20s, like, a dorm feeling. But to have it at my age is a little embarrassing, but, like, whatever. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Well, I should probably intro the podcast. Welcome to Fuck This Place, the podcast about jobs with Chase and Nick. My name is Chase.
My name is Nick, and with us today, fantastic stand-up comic and actress, originally from Canada, now living in Los Angeles. She's everywhere, and she's with you today, Miss Christine Medrano. Christine, thank you for being here, and how are you?
I'm good. Thanks, you guys, for having me. You know, just having a really chill Saturday. Aries season. We are in my season.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're really on your podcast.
Yeah.
My
Thank you for
podcast.
having us.
Thank you so much for showing up, gentlemen. Thank you for being mic'd, for using external headphones. I really appreciate it. I don't know, having a chill Saturday. I skated this morning. I'm probably going to skate after I'm done this.
Wow, it's a
gonna
twofer.
skate it up.
2 days.
Yeah, I try to get, sometimes you need breaks, especially because it's so hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
also think that maybe neurologically you need a break. Again, this is as scientific as I promised to get on this podcast. But I feel like, skateboarding is it's a physical skill, but it's also like you have to take time. Like if you're trying something, it's not working. Sometimes you have to take time not doing it for your brain to just like sort of sort it out, and then maybe it happens again.
And then also sometimes your body is like physically tired.
Oh yeah, that too. You're tired,
and you need a break. You know, just like working out. Like sometimes you need to do reps, and I like to do that with skating. Sometimes I'll skate earlier in the day, and so that way I can skate later in the day.
How long you been skating?
Only since like September.
Really?
And I've been out for like a few weeks because of injuries. Like I'm kind of like wearing an ankle brace right now because I kind of tweaked my ankle. I probably shouldn't be skating, but I'm pushing through.
Cool.
But you have an attic. You have a sloped attic, so I feel like
I have a sloped attic. I'm learning
you like
to
dropping
skateboard. I am a teen. and
Netflix
that's how I
teen, though.
identify as. Please,
a high quality teen, not some
high quality
fucking
teen.
CW teen. You know,
CW teen.
CW teen has like one Rise Against poster, right?
Oh, dude, I would love a Rise
and some
Against
old
poster.
rollerblades in the corner. But a Netflix teen has a vintage like Space Jam or Home Alone poster. You know what I mean? Plus like a Bieber. You know what I mean? Like they have like a good eclectic mix of things.
I have a calendar that I got from like was that John Wilson show. So it's just scaffolding in New York.
Okay. Yeah. Again, very Netflix teen. They have eclectic interests.
You got string lights too, and you got a little man you brought on a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see
stuff.
Okay, it's very.
No, your room is
Don't
cool.
look, don't
No,
look.
your room's super cool. Yeah, your room's really cool.
Thank you.
Do you have a skylight?
I don't have a skylight,
it's
but
just
I
a
do
big
have like
window.
a little door. Like I have a window that opens up like a full door in my room.
Oh, you have a
And
roof
so-
door?
It's not a roof door. It's like it leads to the street, so it goes nowhere. But it opens fully, and so I have actually used that to yell at people who've been trying to steal my catalytic converter and stop them twice.
Oh,
Wow.
dude.
The window,
That is a
I just
rampant
take
thing. In Los Angeles. For those who don't know, catalytic converters are they're a very marked thing. Like if you got one, someone's going to try and take it at some point.
Twice
Yeah,
I've stopped them.
Yeah.
Twice.
I want to ask about that. They stole my sister's catalytic converter like a couple months ago. I've had mine sold too. It's such a fucking bitch. They're so expensive. It bothers me that manufacturers haven't caught up Like they go like, oh, okay, we're back ordered for 11 months before we can get you a catalytic converter. It's like, there's not a manufacturer that just makes these. You're putting them on.
It should be the same people that steal them.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's why they're so expensive, is because there's like the supply is not meeting the demand. And maybe that's why they're worth so much, is because these motherfucking manufacturers don't want to give the people what they want, which is more catalytic converters with not as precious metals, so that way they don't get stolen as often. That'd be great.
Yeah. I'd appreciate that. Maybe make them 2 at a time instead of 1 every 11 months or whatever.
Are we starting a business, guys? Are we just gonna start? Are we gonna start a catalytic converter factory?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Just based around how pissed off we are about this going on.
I mean, is that how Netflix got started? That someone was like enraged at like blockbuster fees, right?
I'm sure that was part of it. Yeah, it's a big friction point.
Yeah.
Well, Christine, we should probably hop on to our first segment. That we do on every podcast. It's actually a segment that we call "Fuck This Place?" ? Where we decide if we would work somewhere or not. So we actually went into some Winnipeg Craigslist action, and we have pulled up 3 posts from the Winnipeg Craigslist. Nick and I are going to address this in a larger sense at some point on this podcast, but we're on a Craigslist a lot. So far, anytime we leave the U.S., the Craigslist gets real horny. So we dodged a lot to get to just these 3 posts.
I am like, and again, I don't want to be too forward. We are just meeting, but I will go out and say Winnipeg is the horniest Craigslist I have ever seen.
It was pretty rough.
Far and away.
You know what?
Not even
match of all the residents, current and past. Just a horned up city. What can we do?
Toronto was
cold weather.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah. But I mean, we're finding it in the nonprofit section. Just like and I was finding either literally me and Chase found 4 posts that were passable in the entire Craigslist of Winnipeg.
We clicked every category.
Yeah.
So we've got 3.
And one of them is horny adjacent.
Yeah.
So it's like we had to go with
scrub
one.
it all is what we're saying.
Yeah.
I feel like in my hometown, I mean, granted, I like moved away many years, but I went to like, you'd go to the paper, you know what I mean? To like the classified. So maybe people are still getting their jobs through that, and it's just not through Craigslist.
I just think that Craigslist isn't a thing outside the U.S. as much as we want it to be. I think people are just on Indeed or LinkedIn, whatever.
Yeah, it's not professional.
There's not that like sort of middle tier of like, I need somebody to shovel some stuff this afternoon.
Isn't it crazy though that we use Craigslist as often as we do when it's just kind of like like a what?
Yeah, I mean
website.
We've talked about Craigslist a bunch on this podcast, and again, I've had many excellent roommates. At least 1 or 2 decent living situations and 1 excellent roommate, at least 1 like life-changing job from Craigslist, and many not life-changing jobs, from Craigslist. But it is wild that it continues to be as used as it is in 2021.
Yeah.
So anyway, the way this works is I'm going to read the title to 3 of the posts. You're going to pick the one you don't want to click on, and then we'll click on the other 2. So first title is Work Smart, Opportunity for Big Thinker. Number 2 is Work from Home, Sell Paddle Boards Online. And then Winnipeg, Canada, by the way. Number 3 is I need a girl who can put me in painful wrestling holds. And that's the 3. So which one do you not want to click on? This wrestling situation?
I honestly don't want to click on the first one because it's so vague. I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. You haven't told me anything about the job. No details. And that seems so sketchy to me. I have to click the link to even like know what's happening.
Okay, great.
So let's get that one out of the way.
That place. So let's take a look at this paddleboard thing, and then we'll round our way out towards wrestling. So this ad begins again. Title
is this Winnipeg?
This is not at all Winnipeg. Winnipeg, you maybe have like 3 months where you can hit the beach,
Okay.
Like, and you can also have blizzards in the middle of April. Like I had a birthday blizzard one time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay.
Bali, right? I don't...
Yeah.
So we have a picture here. If you're listening, it's clearly someone stand-up paddleboarding in paradise. This is the Caribbean, something like that.
I was going to say, when I thought this was Winnipeg, I was like, this lady is definitely very horny and looking for someone to hook up with. She's going out into the ocean at this point.
Maybe a paddleboard is like a code word for like
it could
minor.
Be. Yeah,
dude, at this point,
Pizzagate.
I would love for this post to be the horny post and the wrestling one just to be like a personal
to be
training.
legit.
Just very extremely legit. I also did, again, I know that Canada is a country. I've never been. Like let's put Chase's knowledge, let's identify a baseline here. But I looked at this and I thought, okay, well, there's a chance. This watercolor, absolutely fucking not. But I'm sure there is a chance there are bodies of water in and around Winnipeg where somebody could, if they want, paddleboard. Not in this outfit, I don't think, but maybe, in the summer, right?
You know, a lot of land-made lakes.
That's what I'm saying.
Kind of deal.
Those lakes,
they're
this
not
is not
as
that.
like idyllic as this, obviously. And I honestly maybe the paddleboard can double as a toboggan. It's my thinking.
Yeah, take the
they're
fin
more
off the
likely to
bottom.
sell that,
So yeah, again, we got a white lady in a white hat, in a white bikini, on a whiteboard on top of white sand in crystal clear water, paddling alone out into the deep ocean. That's the picture.
Unsafe.
So let's take a look. Could be unsafe. Let's take a look at the post. Again, the title's "Work from Home, Sell Paddleboards Online," and the text begins, and it says, "Paddle Gear is a BC-based water sports direct-to-consumer online business. We sell inflatable paddleboards and related products across Canada through our network of online marketers." I've actually seen inflatable paddleboards. They're like, they're not as dinky as you think they are. Like,
really?
Yeah, they're like, they're part fiberglass and part inflatable. So it's like you can fold it, but it's not like it goes down to like the size of a pillow or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
like
it goes down to like a not a carry-on, but like a under the airplane luggage. You know what I mean? So you could put it in your trunk, for instance. So it's still pretty fucking big. Anyway, as a person who is from a town with people with too many hobbies, I have run into inflatable paddleboards more than once. And then the ad continues. It says, "We are looking for 2 to 3 sales reps in the Winnipeg area for our 2021 season." Great. Our reps have the freedom. I don't trust this person at all.
I don't either.
Our reps have the freedom to work whenever and wherever and whenever they want. So is it in Winnipeg? Anyway, we offer the ability to generate a substantial side income with lots of flexibility. So definitely not the main show. The position is permanent, but the business is highly seasonal. Okay.
Would you call this seasonal?
Highly
seasonal.
In Winnipeg.
Highly seasonal, and yet permanent. That's not true. One of those is very not true. And I think we all know it's the permanent part.
Yeah.
So it says, then it continues, "You really get out of it what you put into it." No shit. Average seasonal income, April through September, ranges from $4,000 to $30,000.
That's a huge range.
Huge range. We're not even talking like a double situation. This is by a factor of like 8.
Yeah,
a little less than 8, but still.
It's fun to think there's one employee making each of that. Like there's someone there made 30 grand, another one's like about 4.
Yeah.
About 4 is what I got.
I would say that's exactly what it is. That's exactly the situation.
Substantial side income.
2 employees so far, and those are the 2 rates that they've made. And then it says opportunity for advancement, which is like, that's not true. There's no way that you advance into anything other than making more money. Okay, next paragraph. "The business is simple. Our sales reps promote our products primarily on social media. They get paid 100% by commission for each unit sold." 100%?
That means you have to buy it.
That's not true.
You have to buy the product. This
That
is a
might be
pyramid
it.
scheme.
This could be it. Our products are extremely popular, so there's no need for pushy sales tactics. Yeah. Just post an ad, ADD. Answer the odd question. Oh, man. Drive traffic towards the website and make money every time you refer an order. Again, this 100% commission, super vague.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a chance that they have their own inventory and they're just trying to get you to drive traffic, but we'll see. Qualifications: must be a self-starter, good with people, ability to work alone, sales background and asset, good knowledge of social media. I would think a shitload of social followers would help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Canadian citizen or permanent resident. Why does that matter? And then at least 18 years old. And then reply to this with posting with your resume. Thanks. And that's the post. That you have a resume at all would be impressive, I think. for a
They're
person.
looking for a hot influencer girl who's gonna just like who's already just like lives in a bikini, but also happens to live in Winnipeg. Does not exist,
right?
You know what I mean? She's like probably on vacation, going to like Puerto Vallarta or whatever all the time. Or
No,
maybe
you're
Cuba.
right. No, Christine, you just wrote this post better than these people wrote it.
Yeah, this is obviously just a pyramid scheme, right? The Open for Advancement is like, you have a team working under you. It's like, no, you scammed your 3 close friends from high school to like do this as well.
Yeah, to sell paddle boards, which is not like again, I'm not incredibly familiar with, let's say, the Mary Kay or other wellness or like wellness brand stuff, but usually the product you're selling isn't $400. Right?
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? Makeup could be maybe $50. It's still got a high markup on it, 90 or something. But like, a stand-up paddleboard that's inflatable, just ballparking, it's got to be above $300. Like this is not a purchase people make just like, yeah, no problem. I mean, at least that's not a purchase I would make, no problem.
I mean, I've definitely looked at like indoor jacuzzis all the time and think about buying them. So maybe it is like, maybe you just put it out one day and someone's like, you know what? Maybe like it like sits in the back of their mind and slowly, like it's insidious, it goes deeper and deeper into
Well, just out of curiosity, for this indoor jacuzzi situation, how much are those?
They're like you can get one for $200 to $300.
Okay.
And they're like good for like 2 to 4 people. The only thing is that like we'd have to put it in our living room. Yeah. And we don't have any space outside. So it'd just be like an indoor like jacuzzi, and I don't know if my roommates want that / I want that / like how do we get the water in? How do we get the water out? There's a lot of like logistical questions surrounding an inside jacuzzi into
have
like,
you
a living
have you run it by them? Have you pitched it casually?
I've pitched it casually, and my roommate was very receptive and was like, "Yeah, we can definitely do that." And so
I don't know this property.
The only thing that's stopping me is just like truly just like maybe if I like make some money, like some crazy money or something, I'll just like do it, just to say that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, for an
Isn't that surprise they come home and stuff, a little bubbly water going on,
Yeah, just like
with little lights in there. Little lights, like little red and blue and stuff that like changes and stuff. You can turn on.
I put it up here in my attic room.
Yeah.
The house will support that much water weight for sure.
Our ship has come in.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. So, I mean, honestly, if the prices are comparable between a inflatable stand-up paddleboard, again, we're ballparking this hard, and an inflatable jacuzzi, I'd much rather sell not inflatable, an indoor jacuzzi. I'd much rather sell a jacuzzi. You can use that every day. You can't use this
exactly.
Not in Winnipeg. Why are these people in the business of jacuzzis?
I know that seems like more sense because it's probably going to be so cold and like I mean it gets very humid in the summertime, granted. But I just don't think I ever seen anyone on a paddleboard in my entire time in growing up in Canada.
Really? I mean, well, to be fair, paddleboards didn't really catch on, I'd say, until like the 2010 and beyond.
Okay, they're recently popular.
Yeah, I'd say they're a recent popularity. Again, the fact that they're just selling paddleboards, I do think there's plenty of suckers out there. Don't
maybe if they have like the Jets
get it
logo
confused
on it. You know what I mean? Like the Winnipeg Jets, like people would be more apt to buy it because it'd be like merchandising that's specific to Winnipeg and paddleboard.
Well, and it looks like, is there a river that goes through Winnipeg?
There's the Red River and the Forks. Yeah.
So I mean, like
the Forks.
This is not unheard of that, like, and again, I'm speaking a lot about, this type of person that's in the photo here, sort of adventure leaning white types that would love to to like, what's the word, put in, you know what I mean? They want to, like, that's the word for boats, I think. You're like, oh yeah, I put in over on 216th Street and I came out over here, you know what I mean? Like, I think that there's and I don't know what's going on in Winnipeg these days, but like, for instance, Richmond, Virginia, or where I'm from, Asheville, North Carolina, this is the thing. Again, those places are way warmer. And the season is way longer, but there is for sure a, like, I wouldn't even call it a subset. I would call it like an obvious set of people that, like, for certain periods of the year are just like down to just like get out on the water, dude. It's like right here in town, it's part of the work-life balance, So I'm just saying there's plenty of suckers, but are you going to be able to sell to those suckers? I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say, as like Winnipeg's a place where people go to Fargo for vacation. So no, absolutely not. Like I can't tell you the amount of people who I know from high school are like going down to Fargo or going down to Minnesota for our vacation. Like it's no. Maybe this is for like the snowboards, like snowbirds, like people who live in Winnipeg then go like to Florida for the
or
the
Arizona
retirees.
or something.
But no, you're not gonna sell this in Winnipeg. No one's gonna buy this. Maybe like rich white people who
have nothing better to do. They've already bought the indoor jacuzzi.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what else can I do?
What else can I waste my money on? And standing up paddleboard for Winnipeg.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of browned out thinking about the jacuzzi situation, and I thought that that's what we were talking about, and I came back and realized that's not. So I'm not doing this job because I can't even pay attention to a conversation about it without thinking about something that's more interesting. And I thought selling indoor jacuzzis would be way more interesting.
I think you're right.
Selling paddleboards. So I'm out. Fuck this place.
Yeah.
Also, answer the odd question. Do they mean like answer the question that you will get like once in a while? Everything's so weird.
I think
weirdly in this
again, I think that as you've already pitched, Christine, this should be a call for influencers.
Yes.
Right. And they also shouldn't be doing it on Craigslist. They should just be literally going on Instagram, finding people. Let me just like do your whole job for you. You go on Instagram. You literally geo search places in Winnipeg, right? You find people that you like their pictures and they have lots of followers, right? And then you message them and you ask them if they want to do this. And you know, some of them will say yes. Most of them will say, no, you can't sell paddleboards in Winnipeg. Have you thought about jacuzzis? So no, they don't know how to do their job. And I definitely don't want to do mine.
No.
Okay, great. Fuck this place. So let's hop on over to...
I'm excited for this one.
It's going to be a doozy. I hope. We'll see. The title of this post is, I need a girl who can put me in painful wrestling holds.
They put their address.
Full on address. I will not read it out loud, but you can see it on if you want on YouTube.
It's funny. It's funny to think that like, it's like, dude, don't put your address on there. What if someone comes to your house and kicks your ass? He's like, well, kind of hoping for it. I don't know what I'm looking for.
Okay, so there's no pictures and the text begins. It says, I would like to hire a girl who is strong and can put me in painful wrestling holds. I would not fight back if you don't want me to, and only tap out when it gets too painful. Okay. Examples.
That is how tapping out works.
Yeah, that is tapping out. Examples of painful wrestling holds are choke holds and scissor holds. Come on, bro. You had to say scissor hold.
Oh, boy.
Would pay $80 for a 45-minute session.
Fuck.
And then it says, contact me if interested. And then in the compensation, it lists a separate arrangement, which is $70 for a 30-minute session. So he's already lowballing you on time and money. And that's
he's absolutely you're gonna get there and he's gonna be like, I got 50.
Absolutely.
You said 80. He's like,
Yeah.
But we're only going to do it for 15 minutes.
Yeah. And it's mostly just you punching me in the shoulder. Is that cool?
I'm also going to fight back.
Yeah. This is a weirdo, which, again, this is for sure sexually adjacent. If it isn't just full on. But there is a chance, you know, that that this person may want this sort of simple, you know, honest man's experience of getting choked out, and then you leave, and then sexy stuff happens after that, which, you know, could be viable in some cases. But I would say $80 for a 45-minute session is not really enough.
No, not at all. And also, it's listed under domestic gigs.
It is.
I know, like that's like babysitting. You're not. Is that babysitting like this grown man with like your chokehold?
I try and say every category was horned up.
Okay,
like
one of the categories at the very bottom of every Craigslist, there's like really weird ones where it's like computer gigs, whatever. One of them is crew, which I truly barely ever understand, but I do click on it often for different episodes. I clicked on crew for this one, and there was only one post, and it just said, I need a crew of men to come. And that was it. And I didn't click on it.
Wait, but, who was the person needing
They wanted to get fucked by, I think, a group of men.
Okay, is this like a girl or like
I don't think so. I don't think, based off of the other posts that I saw. We saw glory hole posts with photos.
Dude, so many glory hole posts.
Yeah.
So many.
Winnipeg? I thought like the sex part of Craigslist was like gone, right?
Well, see,
not in Winnipeg. It is king.
Not in Winnipeg.
King. It is like the last scene in a zombie movie. It's too many. You can't get rid of this many.
Thrashing of a dying beast.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely gone underground in the sense that most of the time we find posts that are like this, like as that they get about as rough as this, where it's like, okay, this could be something going on here, but there's coded language, right? Although this one isn't particularly coded, like it's obvious that there's going to be human contact.
Yeah. I also wish he'd mentioned his COVID compliance plan.
Would have been nice.
Like I've been vaxxed, I have masks, you can wear a mask.
You can wear like a lucha libre mask, maybe like a wrestling mask. That'd be kind of cool.
Or like a gas mask. Just because I think the numbers in Winnipeg are kind of they're way lower than like LA, but they're still like high for Canada.
Yeah.
The way this is phrased too, it feels very bullet pointy to the point where I would assume that if I'm the lucky lady doing this, that I'm just a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously a greater purpose being served here. This is not just kind of like I'm bored, I'm trying to get my ass kicked or whatever. This is like, are you being filmed? Well,
that's what I was just gonna say.
They're watching. Like it feels like you're just a piece in this
of this whole thing.
You are 100% getting filmed. I think it's just one of those things where it's like definitely like a hidden camera kind of thing.
Oh,
where you're gonna end up on some like kink site at the end, like I don't know, grappling for getting off grappling or something.
Yeah, getting off grappling.com.
That's actually my URL if it's available for purchase. I'm here to promote it and sell it if need be to anyone in Winnipeg. Getting off grappling Winnipeg.ca.
So far we've invented 3, I would say, successful businesses since this podcast began.
We are the well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
What do you think it's like? Do you think you got him in a full Nelson, right? You're like shaking him around or whatever, and like he's like, oh, I tap, and then you let him go, and then it's like a couple seconds of heavy breathing, and then he's like, all right, put me back in it. And he started again. How do you think this works?
I think he's tapping out when he's ejaculated. I think that's what I think the tap is. Yeah. Personally, especially like unless he's got like a really strong lady. So I was
gonna say, like, what is your deal, dude? I mean, just like physically, like how hard do I have to work to make this a painful wrestling move for you?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
painful.
I also think that you're gonna fight back, man.
You're gonna fight back your natural instincts. I feel like if someone tries to punch me, I will try to block and punch them back naturally.
You're just gonna do that.
And this person obviously watches wrestling and kind of like, how do I know he's not gonna like take a chair to the back of my head?
Yeah.
And I like that he puts scissor holds. Like he definitely just wants like I'm assuming scissor holds is the exact same thing as like
absolutely.
lesbian scissoring. Am I wrong?
It's just like a headlock with your legs.
Okay, then it's not scissor.
Yeah, but I do think that he wrote. I do think he put the word scissor in there on purpose. I think that he did put that on purpose. I do think he was like, I do want the word scissor to be in this ad, and so say scissor hold, but like also if you want to do other scissor stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be weird. It'd be weird though. Like I don't know. Like if he went with overly specific, like you didn't really get it. Like he's like, could you put me in the crippler crossface? Like what is?
Okay, you're right. He actually put some pictures. That we needed a picture of like the kind of chokehold, not like on a paddleboard.
Yeah, picture of him would be nice.
And then also maybe a picture of him holding the money, because I truly don't believe in providing you the money. I think you're putting him in painful chokeholds. He's getting off. And then you're getting kicked out of his house or like something bad happens.
Yeah, and again, the rate is way too low. If this guy is in fact getting off, this rate is rock bottom. Like this should be way higher.
In person sex work, this is too low.
Yeah, he should have put a picture of like the money in the briefcase at the top of a ladder, or what, like how you win the match or whatever it is against him, Yeah,
like him
what's
coming
the
down
minimum
as the
wage in
Undertaker.
Winnipeg now? I should look this up. What's the minimum wage in Winnipeg? Because I feel like, I mean, it's not $80, but it's probably better than like it's decent enough that you can avoid that.
It's an $11.90 per hour.
I'm shocked and disappointed in Canada. Wow, really shocked.
Dude.
$11.90.
Standard of living.
I would say.
Living is lower.
Oh, okay, but I would say that this comparison would be more comparable to what does it cost in Winnipeg for a personal trainer for 1 hour, because that's what this is. This is physical exercise for a 45-minute session, and that's good. Yeah, about $100 an hour. So for that, you're getting low ball.
And you're not even like just watching someone, you're literally engaging in the workout. Like to do this 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Again,
cut promos on each other, saying you're going to I'll see you at the Royal Rumble or whatever, you know?
Yeah. And let's imagine this is all cool with you. Like, you're like, nope, no problem. No big deal. Like, I'll do this. You are also like, if you're putting the person in chokeholds, like even if this person never fights back, like you could be pulling your own muscles. You know what I mean? Like a chokehold's not an easy thing to do. Yeah. So you're putting your body, again, separate all the other risks. You're putting your body at risk every time you do this, again, for $80. Just not, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I don't know.
He does live by the river. He does have money, actually. I'm looking at this picture now. He's like it looks like a riverfront.
This guy could use the stand-up paddleboard.
Yeah.
Do you think, because I think as Christine said this, whoever was saying like it should have included a picture of him, because I think you're right. You have to kind of be like, could I hurt this guy? I understand he's going to let me do some stuff, but if I crank every muscle I have in my arm, could I even hurt him with a headlock? What if he's like 6'5"?
And what if I do hurt him?
Like a truck or whatever? You know?
What if he's dinky? What if you like hurt him really badly?
Yeah, what if I break this guy's arm?
Oh yeah, sure. The other side of the coin. Yeah, like you just beat the shit out, like you kill him, and then he's dead. Now you're here for murder
for $80.
Are we writing this pilot? Or are we writing this murder pilot?
I'm gonna
just scrambling, writing notes. Oh, he's dead, and then he's dead,
and then he's dead. But then you bring him back to life. Okay, so I'm gonna say no, because again, our rate is just far too low for the level of physical exertion that's involved.
It's not. If it was like $4,000 to $3,000, $30,000, then maybe I could justify it. It's in that range.
Yeah, the $4,000 to $30,000 range.
How do you start? Let's say you're doing it. How do you get into it? How do you slowly put him in a headlock, or do you go and then you just start wrestling him?
Well, if you're going to be safe about it, you go slow. You say, hey man, so here's what's going to happen. I mean, again, if this is a consensual sexual encounter by a professional, right? Then what you do is you're like, all right, so here's how we're going to do this. Like our safe word starts like this. We're going to do this at like quarter speed first, like stage combat, like I'm going to go like, yo. And then after that we can improvise, once we're bound or something, but I feel like there's gotta be a huge list of rules to get this even started.
And also I think I don't know if would you stretch at home or would you stretch there, and that would be included in the 45 minutes?
Yes, correct.
Like what's included? Is it the 45 minutes like boom as soon as you start wrestling, or does it include kind of like the talk, the entire session?
Yeah, it's got to include. And I honestly think that if this guy gets off on getting beat up by ladies, I would assume he probably gets off on watching them getting ready to kick his ass. So if they're like cracking their knuckles in front of them and stuff, slamming lockers really hard. Yeah.
Signing waivers and stuff.
I'd also want to sign some sort of waiver that says like, you can't sue me if I hurt you, and I can sue you if you hurt me though. I will absolutely sue you.
That's the waiver.
That's the waiver.
Yeah. Although apparently I've been told those waivers don't really hold up in court, but nonetheless, it's a part of your building your case for due diligence.
Exactly. Showing up and doing the work.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Too much work.
I'm out too, because I also get very uncomfortable with the idea of touching people, or like being, and just imagine showing up to a stranger's house and you're getting sweaty with him for 45 minutes. 45 minutes is even if you're doing at a slow pace, you're gonna start sweating. Just flexing your muscles like that.
Do a workout for 45 minutes to an, like you're like, God, I'm kind of done with this already.
Yeah.
So
I'm also gonna say no.
Yeah. Fuck this person. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
Wanted to remind you that you can text the podcast anytime you want.
Night or day, whenever the hell you want.
It's fine. It's the number is 470-BAD-JOBS. The actual numbers are 470-223-5627. That's the number.
So yeah, anytime you want. Like I said, middle of the night, whenever. We don't got jobs right now. Whatever's going on with you is going on with us.
I mean, absolutely. Maybe you still have a job and it's like shitty. You can tell us about that. Maybe you don't have a job and it was shitty before.
Maybe you're getting one of those weird temperature forehead checks right now.
For sure.
You want to pull out your phone and just say, fuck you guys. I'm going to text 470-BAD-JOBS.
470-223-5627 is the number. That is the number. And you can also call us if you want, but I mean, whatever. It's your choice. That's the point here.
Christine, what is the first job you ever had?
So the first job that I ever had, I guess, I worked for my family a lot, and I did clean offices when I was like 11 years old. I
Okay.
got paid five. But if you're looking like first legal job that wasn't like my parents, I also had like a paper route, shoveled snow. But I guess maybe market research. I used to be in market research when I was 15 years old at this place called Ipsis Reid. So it'd be like, "Hi, I'm Christine. I'm calling from Ipsis Reid. Are you the head of the household?" Like that kind of job. And so it's just like in a call center, calling people, trying to get them to take surveys.
And you've got a
And it was a
great call
nightmare.
center
I mean, it
voice.
was like fine. I ate a lot of Subway while I was working there because there was a Subway underneath. I remember that.
Oh,
The
okay.
footlong subs. But yeah, it was like Ipsis Reid was my first like official job that wasn't like through my parents or just like a paper
Got it.
route.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. How long did you do that for?
I did that probably, I don't want to say less than a year, but like a few months. I remember I had a
Okay.
huge, because my brother also worked there, and that's how I like got the job. Because it was a pretty good paying job for like a 15-year-old to have. Market research does pay kind of well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I moved into like a movie theater and Best
So
Buy.
you were calling for like a survey on like, what do you think about stand-up paddleboards or or
It was a lot of like AT&T about their self-service, and then a lot of I did a lot of, because I guess we lived in a like near rural areas.
Yeah.
So we called a lot of farmers and asked about Roundup and like Monsanto products.
Okay.
What do you think you're a Monsanto? And then one time someone thought we were calling someone's cell phone, and they're like, well, this doesn't count as my minutes though, because you're calling from AT&T. And I was like, well, actually, and then they hung up right away.
Yeah.
I'm mostly dealing with like a lot of hang-ups
Yeah, of
and
course.
just kind of like having like phone voice, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just about to say your phone voice is like 3 octaves.
Yeah. Hi, my name's
Above.
Christine Medrano. I'm calling from Ipsis Reid. Are you the head of the household? Okay, great. Do you know when they'll be in? Like it just kind of goes up, you know?
Of course, no, it's a well-documented phenomena, I think. Is that, I genuinely think there's like papers on it, that like, especially women are highly encouraged to like have that super high, like, oh my God, you're so funny voice.
So why is that supposed to sound more polite? Be like, hi versus hi. Like what? Is someone more likely to like stay on the phone with me? I've had a lot of phone jobs too.
So you just a couple months and you called farmers about like the worst products known to man.
Yeah, horrible. Part of the problem.
But it was pretty good money for a 15-year-old, you say?
Yeah, I think it was like, I mean, I don't want to like, I'm trying to remember. I feel like it was like $8.75 or something, which was like, or like $9.95. It was like a higher amount. I feel like the minimum wage was like $7 or something, and it was like $8.75.
Right. I mean, again,
You know what I mean?
when you're 15 and if it is above minimum wage, like that's pretty good because
That's pretty good, Yeah, absolutely.
Did you work directly with your brother too? Was he like in the same office as you?
Sometimes if we were on the same shift, and then like I got like a lot of people, it's just because there was so much high turnover at that job.
What?
Truly employing the teens of my hometown.
Do you remember do you remember if your brother used a high voice?
Same voice.
My brother's gay, so probably.
Okay, got it.
Maybe he's like more like straight sounding voice. I don't know. But probably, I feel like. And it is funny though, because they did have people who would like come sometimes and listen to you. They'd have to like stand in your cubicle and like listen to you do calls. And I feel like, I don't know, your voice probably went even higher then.
Yeah, it's just like no one can actually hear it. It's like a dog whistle.
Yeah.
Volume.
We had to like log out if we were going to the bathroom, and it would time us, shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
But they would
we've
come
run
around and
into that.
listen.
That's so.
They would come around and listen to you. And okay, we've talked about certainly people who get calls that are audited, right? Because the calls get recorded, whatever. Someone listens and they, tell them things about what happened. And like, yeah, I fucking know I was on the call. But these people would come right behind you, like in your
I don't remember if it's like right behind you, because I remember they did have to kind of like go through a thing that they were like assessing, like here's like you meet to perform, like needs like satisfaction, blah 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 blah. And so they would go through a checklist of things that you met or like did wrong or didn't do right or whatever. Because it's like you're also like, if you're doing a survey, you're supposed to like phrase it a certain, you have a script you're reading from, but you can't like, you can't use like language like that's suggestive, you know what I mean? So you gotta be like, so would you say that's a 6? You have to be
right
like,
for the data to be
exactly,
clean.
you're not leading them.
Right. So you obviously were like at least half decent, or you were at least half decent to your employers because you were able to just bring in the rest of the teens of Winnipeg. Like
I mean, they were coming in on their own, so it was definitely like I just happened to work with a lot of teens, but I do feel like I had mentioned it to a few of my friends, and they also went and got jobs there because it's like easy, because it's like truly so much turnover.
Yeah,
it was just kind of like time did move so slowly. I do remember having I'd write out how many hours I would have to be there, and then I'd cross it off after like hour one done, hour two done, because you're never having like rushes or anything. You're truly just sitting down, and you're just kind of like, it did feel very like office
like jail, like days,
yeah, like jail, exactly. I remember doing that, like time just went by so slowly because it's like a job where you're just like looking at a screen, like watching a clock.
Yeah, because you could literally fit like 50 dials into 1 hour. Right.
Yeah, and I would try some, like my big thing was like, okay, so I'm like not gonna look at the clock for like for like see how long I can go without looking at a clock, and that was like a big game for me. It never lasted. I'd always be like, that must have been like 30 minutes, and I'd look and it'd be like 5, and I'd be like, shoot me in the fucking face.
So you didn't stick around.
I didn't stick around very long, and then I moved on to like other rent. I've had so many. I was one of those people where I had so many fucking jobs. I've probably had like over 50 jobs, maybe definitely more within my lifetime. Yeah. I worked at a movie theater. I worked at Best Buy. I worked at a nursing home. Worked for my parents, like healthcare agency. So sometimes I just had so many different jobs. I also worked at video store and movie theater and Best Buy all at the same time.
Okay.
And I managed to juggle those jobs.
Wait a second. Okay, so wait, you worked at a movie theater and a video store at the same time?
And a Best Buy.
So, but you got to see the movie.
Part of every part of the movie pipeline.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to.
It was definitely like, like like if I had this room as a teenager, I would have been so fucking cool, working at a movie theater and a video store. That's true. But so I would get free movies to go to watch them in theaters, and also get to take home free DVDs from my movie job. And so it was really cool because I would just sit on my ass watching movies all day at my video store job, because like it was pretty slow. It was like a mom and pop video store. But they had just like such a poor selection of movies. Like they had no independent and like art house films. And so I remember like I had to twist the arm of the owner to get like a copy of Amelie. It was like an old movie at that point.
It was like
and like he was so mad no one came in and rented it. He put it under new releases, and I'm like, this movie's like years old. What are you doing?
He was just trying to get Last Action Hero again.
Yeah, exactly.
More copies of Last Action Hero.
Well, what I learned is that if a movie, if a video has a picture of like a gun on the cover, even if they have no idea, if it's just a straight to video, they will rent it. People will rent it if just with a gun and like Wesley Snipes or something on it.
Especially in Winnipeg.
Yeah, especially in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
So then, I know you probably weren't there, but the Fast and Furious franchise has done very well at that store, if it's still exists.
I'm 100% sure it did. We also had the video store did have like a porn room. And
with like the beads.
Pardon?
Did they have like a beads door?
It had like a door. You fully had to open it.
Oh, it was a full-on door.
It was a full-on door. And I remember
put some bass in your voice, my guy. Open the door. Yeah.
You have to open a door of shame. And I just remember that there was this one guy who had this special deal that was 10 DVDs, 10 days, $10. And he would go in because he would come in every 10 days and get like 10 porns and rent them for $10 for 10 days. And he'd always complain about the selection of movies. And I remember just like every time he returned movies, I would put on gloves because I'd have to look at the DVDs and check them. And so I remember just putting on I would put on like bags on my hands because I'd have to go through them. And when I went to go put like DVDs or like titles back, like the boxes back in that room, I'd hold my breath and go and then just run out because I was like a teen girl, so I was just definitely like didn't want to spend any time in there. Like was not.
You also didn't want to get caught in there while someone else came to like explore.
Yeah, and I was just like I went to like 14 years of private Catholic school. I was a virgin until I was like 21, so I was definitely like not in touch with my sexuality enough to be comfortable to be in like this little tiny like room full of like naked people with all the and especially like the covers of porns are so aggressive.
Crazy.
They're insane. They're like
I just want we're gonna start this whole story from the beginning.
Yeah,
we're gonna
I want to get
go right back. I want to know about this fucking guy. Okay, so like
I want to know about this deal. Before we get to this guy, is this deal just for him?
It was specifically just for him. There was a few deals that we had. There was another person who had the same kind of deal, but with horror movies. Well, just 10. He usually just rented like 10 shitty horror movies, like B horror films. But this guy had the special deal that was just for him.
And he only used it for porn.
Yeah.
Never a copy.
I never once saw him.
Jurassic Park.
It was what if I got Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Yeah,
maybe the porn parodies of those films. I can't think of any off the dome right now. It's like only porn.
Yeah, so it was never like a time like, oh, cool, you're getting Naked Gun. I love this movie. Like it was never just.
No.
It was all just like.
Okay, we can get back to the guy. We can get back to the guy
porn.
now.
And also, he's just like an old man. And also, it is true that like on the holidays, like Thanksgiving or day before Christmas, that so many men would just come in and rent so much porn.
Really?
Yeah. I worked at a record store that sold used DVDs, and I remember a high concentration of older men coming in and just getting like you never want to like assume, but I wouldn't have guessed that. Every single time they come up, and so I was always blown away by the porn selection from old people. And maybe I'm just not giving them credit for being people.
Like, what was the most surprising thing that you saw them? Was it just kind of like
it was like
weird kink stuff, or kind of
age? I remember specifically one that just blew my fucking mind. Was like this really old guy, like honestly don't know how you get boners still old. And he came in and he bought porn, which I guess it makes a little sense in terms now that I'm thinking about it, but just it blew me away. It was a porn. It was a gay porn about older men having sex with younger men on golf courses.
I thought it was gonna be like a lemon party kind of porn, but I guess that's kind of like a lemon party kind of porn.
It was just like a thing where, but I just remember that while I did think he was really old, he was just kind of like with the confidence of just like, and this young man, and I was like, yes, sir, right away, sir, and then like afterwards, So this guy that did you have, and I mean all of you guys, the employees in the store, did you have a relationship with him? Did you know like, oh, here comes Ron?
We definitely kind of like knew him, and he knew the owner. Definitely, like the owner of the video store, and so he'd come in. I would never try to like strike up conversations with him, though. I was just kind of like, of course, get your filthy movies,
get your 10 movies and get out of here.
I don't have to touch these boxes. These boxes have been touched by disgusting men's hands. I feel like now I'd be like a lot more chill about it, because when you're like 18 and a girl, you're just like, oh, gross. So I feel like he was definitely. He was like, I would never, if the owner was there, he would kind of have a conversation with him, and he'd always just complain about the selection, that we needed to get new DVDs. Always complaining. He was like, when are you going to get new ones? He's like kind of a cranky old man.
Yeah. So, I had that too. Now that you say, I'm sorry, like not to make it about me again, but I had that same problem with people complaining about porn. They never complained that they couldn't find a copy of The Dark Knight or whatever when we wouldn't have that. But like if they couldn't, they'd be like, do you have, and then they'd name some, every porn title's fucking ridiculous, like fucking Gangbang Annihilation 39 or whatever. I'd be like, I don't fucking know that off the top of my head. Like what? And so I 100% believe that. Daisy, you had a question?
No, I just wanted to be in your corner there for a second, Christine, on the like gross man hands. Like, nah, man, like bunch of gross ass hands to touch.
Especially because they're allowed in that room by themselves.
Anything.
With the door shut. I'm like, they're putting hands down their pants. I think.
Oh, sure, for sure.
And in the case that they do or they don't, I'm just kind of like putting on bags on my hands or gloves to touch the rentals.
Yeah. So he comes in and he like
in the middle of the daytime too, because that was when my shift was.
Yeah, during his lunch or something.
Fearless. Came in. And so he comes in and he's just kind of like, I guess these 10, because you don't have the 8 that I'm looking for. So I just found 8 other ones I'll deal with. And he just hands them off and he bitches to the owner if the owner is there. But he's not just like, do you know what the conversation was for him to get that deal? If also horror guy got that deal?
I feel like it was probably like my owner, the owner of the store was a very generous man. Like I can't tell you, like he'd buy me lunch every week. Like if I was the person who had to open the store, but sometimes I'd like oversleep and I'd get there and he'd just be like there and he'd be like, here's a cup of coffee, and then he'd leave. He like wouldn't give me shit or anything.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I feel like the owner of the store probably saw him, was there when he was renting one day, and be like, hey. And he had like an act, like a Russian accent, like, hey, I'll give you a deal, 10 DVDs, 10 days, $10. Or like, he probably saw that he's renting a high volume of movies and consistently renting them every time, like 10 days would come up.
Reward that
back
behavior,
in there.
you know?
Yeah,
this guy's
yeah.
super
Trying to
funny.
hook 'em.
He was a nice guy, the owner. And so he definitely was, you know, we also had like a 99-cent video day classic among local stores. So maybe he came in on that day and was like, I'm going to get 10 movies for $10.
Right.
10
Like,
days.
don't stress me out on Wednesdays, bro. Like, let's
Yeah.
Yeah,
do this
any
anytime.
day you come in, you can get your 10 porns. For
I mean, like,
Was there ever a time when horror guy and porn guy were in there together?
Not to my knowledge, but I
Okay.
wish their worlds could have collided. That
That'd
would
be pretty
beautiful.
good.
Maybe a
Pretty
friendship
good.
would have struck up. Yeah.
Like we're not the same, but I get you.
Yeah, we're very different. Like what we took off to is very different.
Yeah.
I used
They're like, I think you're weird. Well, I think you're weird.
Yeah. You're both weird. Congratulations.
just out of curiosity, how long do you think if the man started fresh, you know, like he had a Men in Black, like his memory was erased, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna work through this back room, and I'm gonna go first round on all movies. How long? How many videos are in there? Are we talking 1,000 videos? We're talking 100 videos?
No, not thousands. It was a very small room. I'm like trying to think about like how many racks we had. Like we had like probably had 5 rows, top to bottom, and then you know like that, and there was like 4 walls, but one was only partitioned because of the door. So I want to say there was probably like, he's probably right that there wasn't the hugest porn selection because it was an offshoot of a normal video store. The bulk of the business of the store was just
Not
normal movies, not porn.
So let's say
I wanna
500.
Okay, if he's doing 10 DVDs, so yeah, I would say maybe like 500, maybe a little less than that.
Yeah.
I would say it would take him 10 DVDs, 10
That's
days.
a year. That's 50.
Yeah, a
that's 50
year.
weeks. So,
Yeah.
so like I could understand if this guy's been doing this for 3 years, you know.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, I'm a little tired of this.
And then he's
My
probably
guess is he
rented
has.
a few of them, like a few times, because he's probably like, oh, this one's bad. You know what I mean? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But also just like, I hope at this point he's taken to the internet. Or maybe he should, you know what? Support local video stores. I take that back.
Absolutely,
You'll get them in person.
Yeah,
You'll get a
but
DVD player.
this guy actually had the internet. He had a subscription, you know. But in reality, he just loved supporting local businesses.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what it
Bring
came down
himself.
to. I hope he supports just a bunch of like girls' OnlyFans now. He gets like you know custom content for himself.
Yeah. That's probably how he knew the selection was poor. It's because he had the internet and he was like, I know there's a lot better stuff out there. You just need to get it.
I need more of this girl. He Googles her. It's like, she's in these 39 films in this 1 month. Get them to me stat.
That's wow, the people you meet along the way, huh?
Yeah.
Truly, gifts.
That's okay. So we'll call those your first set of jobs, we'll say. So Christine, what would you say is the worst job you've ever had?
Oh God. I had I've definitely had like embarrassing jobs. Like I've been like a costume character, and that's always that was actually wasn't that bad. You get a lot of breaks because of how hot it is in the suit. But people will just hand you babies to hold, and you're just like, I can't see my field of vision. I have a giant head on my head.
Elmo. Dude.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into this. So what costume characters and for what business? What were you doing?
It was for Universal Pictures. It was a bunny, and it was for like a movie they had coming out called like Hop or something.
Okay.
And so I'd have to go. I lost that job very quickly though because I was like in my early 20s or something, and I got like too drunk and forgot to I like hung over and didn't show up for a bunch of appearances. That's on me, obviously. But that was short lived. Yeah. And then I guess I've also done that job at like an Easter day where I was at like the Grove, or I don't remember if it was the Grove or Americana, where I was just like where people take photos with the bunny.
You were the bunny.
If you don't mind me asking,
Whoa, you were the Easter bunny or just a bunny?
A bunny. They were like, because we swapped them out though.
In
but
Bunny
yeah.
Town.
Horrible job.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
Actually, there are more like laborious jobs that I've done. Like, I've done like a lot of like catering, and that's always like so intense because of setup and breakdown. And sometimes it'll be for like really fancy parties, and you just like don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and the
everyone's
bummer
so
is
rude to you.
everyone there gives a lot of fucks. at a
Oh my
catering
God, they
event.
give. I used to do catering, cater waitering for I don't know, the Elton John Oscar party,
Uh-huh.
and so it was like incredible because there were so many celebrities, and it was like very cool. Everyone's just stealing so much alcohol, getting shit faced, but it was just like people were so rude to you,
Yeah.
and there was just so much work, and it was so much. Everything was such a huge deal. You had to like carry a huge tray, and it had to be like you had to serve it was 10 tables every person, and you have to serve 10 people at the same time.
Yep.
So it's not about like serving 3 and then coming back and getting more. So you'd have to carry these huge trays, and they'd have so many questions about the menu. And I, of course, knew nothing about it. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I was just a bad server at every job that I have. I could like barely open a wine bottle, and and you're not allowed to put it between your thighs. And so like so many times, not at that job, but like I used to be a waiter at different jobs. The table would be watch me struggle trying to open a bottle of wine. They'd be like, "Do you want us to open it for you?" And I'd be like, "No, no, 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 I got it." Like even a few times they'd like break the cork in the bottle and have to go get a new bottle. I was just like, you know what I mean, like an idiot. Oh, I worked at Bevmo. That was a horrible job.
Oof.
I worked at Bevmo because I knew nothing about wine. I broke bottles all the time, and all of my employees teased me. I feel like wherever I go when I get jobs, a lot of times people like treat me like I'm everyone's youngest sister,
Right.
and so I just get teased and bullied a lot.
So it's safe to say you've had issues with alcohol the entire run, because you say you're a hungover
Either drinking
bunny
it or serving it
and
or
you couldn't
selling it.
open the wine bottles at the second job, and then you worked at an alcohol store on the third one, right? Just real quick though, back to the rabbit thing. Every time I've seen a mascot, they've always been
They're short women.
really, that's what I'm gonna ask. Really? Oh, whoa.
99% of the time they are tiny women. If they're if you go to most amusement parks, they're short women because you look at the size of them, and they're pretty short, and then like their head, like above them is a lot of empty space, or they're 6 feet. That's the thing. They're either really short or they're really tall, because the costumes don't really accommodate for people who are in the middle, I feel like. And so when I've worked those jobs, the majority of the time the costume characters have been tiny women or like tiny men or just short people.
Yeah. And so you were saying that you sometimes be hungover and they would hand you babies, and then you have to take pictures.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And then you can't fully see. Your field of vision is so kind of blocked. But because a lot
do you
of
share
times,
costumes? I'm sorry, real quick. Do you share so you take it off, and then tomorrow someone puts on your sweaty bunny outfit, and then they have to walk out and wear it?
to my knowledge, we all had been assigned specific ones, and so like there were like 5 of us. We all had our own, like costumes that we had, and then you'd show up there with it.
But
Like your basketball jerseys.
to jump in though, in
It
other
could be
gigs,
pardon?
in other gigs, they share them like a mother.
Another gig you definitely shared.
Like
I
in
mean,
amusement
definitely
park?
Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, they're all Chuck E. Cheese. We're all Chuck E. Cheese
No,
here.
but like
the
even
thing
like,
is that they have unions. You have to like join a union, not for certain gigs, but if you want to be a costume character at Universal, you have to join a union. And because of that union, you get so many breaks. You can't even work like longer than half an hour. You get like a 45-minute break. You're never working a full hour. You get so many breaks that half of your time is spent in the break room. And that costume character job, because it was in the summer, like sometimes we'd go out for 15 minutes and then have to take a break for like half an hour because you'd get so hot in the suit. That most of your time is like sitting down and doing nothing. That's why they have multiples.
Yeah, they were tired of their tiny ladies dying in front of the customers. Yeah.
You get dehydrated, truly. It's dangerous. It's dangerous work.
So you did that. How long did you do that for, real quick? And then we'll move back to
that one wasn't that long, but I've also done like I was a character at Universal for like, the Halloween season or whatever.
Dude.
A character.
Character is a professional name.
What character were you?
I was Wolfman victim, so they had to put like a prosthetic on my neck but they showed my face that made me look that my neck had been ripped out. So I had to spend like a few hours in a makeup chair.
Oh, is that cool
or
terrible?
It was cool and terrible at the same time because like when I was working, I have like a lot of racist remarks. People who would just be like, because I do this thing where I'd pretend to be a statue, and I'd be like, and they'd go around a tree, and then I'd pop out there. So I'd be like, and they'd be like, that doesn't even look real. Or be like, go back to Mexico. Oh, she's crossing the border. Like comments like that. And I could like fully hear them. They just didn't realize that.
You were like a statue in a single tear coming down from the shitty things they're saying to you.
Yeah, and I'd hear them, and then they talk about my physical appearance in front of me because they thought that it was a statue.
Right.
Oh my god!
Fuck them up by scaring the shit out of them.
And then we get them back by scaring the shit out of them, and they're always like, it's always like giant men pushing forward their girlfriends in front of them. Yeah. It was a lot.
Cool guys, real cool guys.
That is so fucking dark. That is the scariest part of like Scareville or wherever is how racist the patrons are.
Yeah, and then but besides, I mean, it was like a lot. It wasn't like there was definitely like a few every single day.
Even a few times is a lot of times, you know.
Yeah,
I feel like if it happened once, you'd remember it forever, let alone a few times a day.
Yeah, it definitely a lot of people's like a character is revealed when they're dealt with like because they dressed me like a gypsy, so maybe that's part of the reason why I got so many comments like that. But also like sometimes they take off the prosthetic, but I still have like blood splattered across my face, and sometimes I like accidentally go to the store afterwards or like be pumping gas with like my like a splatter, realistic splatter blood across my face. Yeah, I was.
They're like, oh, that girl's having a rough day.
Yeah,
and she's out of gas.
And she's out of gas. And she's getting chips. Jesus.
Those jalapeno chips are really going to come back to bite you. That's for sure.
Exactly. Burn a hole in my ass.
So
it happens to me with jalapeno chips every time. I think, oh, this is going to be great. And it's just like, no, this is terrible.
Our assholes have had to pay for all of our sins.
I'm going to be wiping
all the habanero.
Okay, so that is awful. And then you're doing that for a while, and then you catering, and then you're in Bevmo, where you say more people are mean to you. You're saying you're picked on there?
Well, it was more just kind of like playful. Like they'd call me Canada, and then they'd go over the walkie-talkie, like not the like, Canada, blah blah blah. But they put me in charge of wine tastings, but I knew nothing about wine because I was the only employee who just wouldn't get shit-faced at that station. And so people would come up to me and they'd have to ask me about wine, and then I would just pick up the bottle and then very poorly read it to them. They'd be like, tell me about this wine, and then I'd be like, it's a white wine, so fish is good with it.
The
good for
most
summer because it's
conventional
white.
wisdom of all time. Just like you could Google any of these things about red wine.
I would truly just be like reading the label to them. Like I'm not even joking. And also I was one of those servers who whenever people would ask me about wine would just like mumble because I could not pronounce anything. A vintage of 2019. It's from the Gorchon region. But the grossest part of working at Bevmo is that they make you do a training where they make you taste wines, but you're not allowed to drink any of it, and you all have like a communal spit bucket that they put in the fucking middle of the table. And then they make you try like cheeses and breads and stuff to like learn about it. So you're just like the entire training, you're just looking at a giant spit bucket full of all the wine you're not allowed to drink.
Like I could have been this drunk.
Yeah, I could have been this drunk, but
this sad.
Yeah, it was a lot of people who would just get drunk at that job. But also at the movie theater job that I had, everyone hated me there, and
more you say.
I think I'm beginning to think the problem is me, but because all of the kids that worked at the movie theater all went to the same high school, and I went to a separate private school that was very hated in my hometown.
Okay.
And so they would just bully me and tease me. And then one of them tried to add me on Facebook like years after, and I was just like, no, you were so mean.
Fuck out of here, bud.
You're an asshole, dude.
Yeah.
We were wild at that movie theater though.
Yeah.
We were so wild. We would take cash out of the register to play poker. Because we didn't have any markers or any chips to play with, so we just used cash money from the register, and then our manager got us and we got in so much trouble.
Wait, where were you playing? Yeah, I bet you were stealing. Where were you playing?
No, we weren't stealing, we'd put it back. It was just because of like to like be able to play. You know what I mean?
Well, like on shift though, you're playing poker?
Yeah. Like, because
okay.
I worked at a 2-screen movie theater. So when the rush happened, it was like the 2 movie theaters would go in at the same time, and then we'd have some downtime to restock or whatever, and then also play poker.
You had like 2 hours, because it's how long movies are.
Or one time someone got a knife. We were playing with a knife that got stuck on the ceiling, and then our manager just came out, and we all had like that huge sign changing thing, and we were all standing around, and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, someone threw a knife on the roof. Or he's like, "Who?" And we're like, "John."
Someone.
There was like
Don't
one of
ask
the
who.
employees. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm a bad employee.
No, we're just on a wild ride.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. You have done a lot of stuff. I'll say that.
This is like just truly the tip of the iceberg for the amount of jobs that I've had.
There's a part of me that wants to ask questions, and there's a part of me that just wants to sort of pull the slot machine lever. And just like, what else you got?
I worked at a Pinkberry also that wow, what a wild ride. It was just like we would get into ice fights.
Ice fights.
Like we take the shaved ice machines and we just get a bunch of ice, and like everyone and at one point our manager was like also just like a chill manager, and her rule at the end of the night was like, you can take what you can carry, and they had to shut that shit down because the store was like losing money.
Of course,
we take so many toppings home.
Just thinking like just what you can carry is so much for
because
grown
you
adults.
empty out the machines at the end of the night anyways, right? And so I would
okay.
have my freezer at home was just filled with Pinkberry. I put on so much weight when I worked there.
You're like if like the spirit of Las Vegas was a person. I feel like it's like it's just chaos everywhere you go. Is a different kind of chaos.
My parents were both high rollers, and I did go to like Las Vegas a lot growing up, so I do think that's probably has a bit to do with it. My dad's gambling addiction permeates into my
and trickles down into ice fights.
I didn't start the ice fights. That was something that was there in the culture of that store, and then I
think you should have said, but I finished the ice fights, is what you should have said.
No, a new manager came in, and they fired that manager, and it got real strict and real corporate and not fun.
You mean no stealing? Like no more stealing, putting us out of business with how much you're stealing?
We weren't putting them out of business. They're just running a loss. And the store's still open.
We're not putting you out of business. We're just driving you towards that end. Yeah. Like you're fine, dude. Man. All right. Well, Christine, we usually close the podcast with 3 questions to kind of cover the bases. I think it's pretty clear to us we're never going to cover all the bases of your life and the life and times.
You're like the life of a pirate. I feel like.
My friend has said that me and my dad have really scallywag energy. You know what I mean? Into weird things and just like unscathed.
Scallywag energy. Scallywag energy.
I'm a scallywag.
You scallywag. That's but you own it. I respect it, and it sounds like you've done nothing but back it up your entire work life.
I mean, I feel like I'm better now. You know what I mean? Like I have.
I hope so. You were throwing knives at the ceiling before. I hope you're better.
I was just present for it.
Okay.
In between poker games.
In between poker games at the local movie theater.
Like I understand you're not a part of it, but if it does happen at every job, there's something going on. No biggie. Anyway, those 3 questions are almost completely out the window by now. Question number 1 is like when were you done and how'd you quit that bad job? Let's just say that's for Bevmo. When did you leave the Bevmo thing?
I don't remember how I left the job, but I was someone who for as long as possible had my mom quit or would stop showing up. I had my uncle call and just be like, she doesn't want to work there anymore. And they're like, who is this? And like, I'm her uncle. Wow. I would definitely like no-show so many jobs because I'm just like bad with confrontation. Like if I wanted to call in sick from a job, like in my house when I was growing up had 2 phones, so I'd call with one phone and let it ring, and then call with another phone at the same time, so I'd get the machine. You know what I mean? Just like I do shit like that. Wow. So I was definitely like doing that kind of shit. Like I'm pretty sure I probably just stopped showing up. Yeah. And the amount of like last checks that are like floating out there.
She's left it on the table, folks. You know.
Yeah, they have so much money that's just floating around in unchecked that will eventually come back to me karmically.
Yeah. Well, or at the very least,
Guitar Center definitely owes me money. Bevmo definitely owes me money. A few restaurants in LA.
What did you do? Wait a second. What did you do at Guitar Center?
So usually when you're girls, they have you work the front door. You do security. And so like I have to check people's bags, and if they have any gear, I have to like write it on a log. But a lot of it is kind of like, pardon?
When you say gear, like they brought in their own guitar or something?
Sometimes people would bring in their own guitars if they wanted to, like, or like things that they were returning, or they wanted to try something with something. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Like they want to try a pedal with a guitar or something. So you'd have to write down the thing that they brought in, and then if they exited, you have to like take a note of like, okay, they left with it, or like returns. And we'd also like had access to the phone. For announcements, which was also a lot of fun.
You're like, hey, Canada here. I'm holding a bass up front.
I mean, you just kind of like wander off and like play instruments. I did definitely no-showed that job for sure.
Honestly, it's amazing that you just picked up skateboarding like 6 months ago.
Like I used to like cruise around. Like I have like cruiser boards and like penny boards. And when I lived in New York for a hot second, I would like take my penny board and ride to work. But I just like since I've been like trying to like learn tricks, not just ride around.
I just expect every single one of these activities to like every single one of these jobs. You walk outside into the parking lot, you light a cigarette or a spliff or something. And you hop on a skateboard and you just start like doing, front side. Aren't you
amazed I keep getting hired? I'm so good at job interviews. I'm really good at it.
I think, I imagine when you leave on your skateboard, everyone's like, was that Bart Simpson?
Like a scallywag that was.
No, scallywag is like an innocent, dangerous energy is what that is.
Innocent, dangerous energy.
It's playing poker with money that you don't intend to steal, but it's entirely possible it might get stolen in the course of thing, or it's just
very
lots of cookie dough.
Finn.
Huckleberry Finn.
A lot of cookie dough in the pocket kind of deal.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, a lot of gummy worms in this person's life. Okay, well, question number 2 is like, what's one thing like one good thing you've taken from any of these bad jobs? Like any life lessons
that you
learned?
can leave at any time. Capitalism is a lie. You should do as little as possible and make the most amount of money. Just kind of like all jobs that are survival jobs are kind of garbage, and don't put too much pressure on it. Because you can always just leave. Unless you're like trying to like climb that ladder to be that general manager at that Chin Chin in Studio City.
You quickly learned you didn't have to get your uncle to call out for you. You just literally stop showing up, and it's like, I'm cool, I'm free right now.
Also the thing that I learned is that you just become best friends or really good friends with the managers, and they'll never fire you even if you're bad at your job, because they like you. You just have to be like nice and charming.
In the survival job category, that's for sure. Well, question number 3, not related to those jobs, thank God, is we've had a pandemic. It's been not good. A lot of dreams have been sidelined, paused, delayed, whatever. Like how are you doing with all that? I
was very fortunate in that like I had made some money off commercials last year, and then just kind of like was living off of that, and then I've worked a few remote little jobs here, so I'm doing all right. Definitely have put a bunch of money in weed stocks. We're seeing how that is gonna go. We're waiting for that Tilray and Apria merger, but besides that, I've been very fortunate and lucky to just like my job, the last 3 years, my life has just kind of been freelance and working, like having big breaks in between work. Never this much break, but I'd say I've been very fortunate and lucky that I've just been kind of fine, besides like my mental health deteriorating because of this and lack of hikes. But job-wise, I'm fine.
That makes sense. Yeah, and you're kind of used to those downtime, even though this downtime has been significantly larger. You're used to being like, okay, what, a lot of people, who may be laid off for the first time in a long time are kind of in the situation of like, well, now what do I do with my time? And you're like, oh, I know exactly what I do with my time. I've just had to do it for way longer.
Yeah, I kind of also shifted away from productivity into enrichment. If that makes that sounds so stupid, but I was just like, I'm not going to do things that I feel like I have to do. I'm going to do things that I feel like enrich my life
for sure,
or that make me feel better or like whatever.
Yeah, because it's all you've got right now.
It's all I got, and so whether that's like, and I've been doing like a lot of like volunteer work. I worked the polls this year, and I was high every single day. I worked those goddamn polls. You know how hard it is to wake up at 7 a.m, get like
Scallywag.
so stoned. But yeah, so I've just been fine, and I think that like like I said, I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
That my work before this was just kind of like I was just like living off acting money, honestly, and so it was kind of like now I just don't have as much work, and that's fine. But I still have savings to live off of.
Yeah. Got it. Well,
living in an attic is very cheap.
Yeah. I mean, Netflix teen. Christine, where can people find you on the internet if you'd like to be found?
They can find me at Christy Mads on Instagram. I'm currently still banned off Twitter.
Oh, really?
Since it's coming up in 3 months banned.
Okay.
And they can find me, I guess, at ChristineMedrano.com if they want to check my website out. Yeah.
And we'll put those
on
links in the
Instagram
show
right
notes.
now. I'm also on TikTok. My TikTok is Christine Skateboards. They can throw me some love on that.
We'll 100%
It's earnest skating videos, unfortunately.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
We'll follow you on TikTok. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Christine. It has been a wild ride. But I felt like I expected it, but at the same time, I don't think I was prepared. And I'm really glad that that's the case.
Tip of the iceberg, too. I have too many stories.
We'll have to have you back on to hear part 2 of 30.
Yeah. Okay, well, fuck this place.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Okay, episode's over. You know what to do. Subscribe, share, be my best friend, accompany me to Disney World, rate us 5 stars, get super scared on Space Mountain with me, barf in the fountain outside of Cinderella's castle, buy matching shirts that say Spring Break 2008, Legends Never Die. You know, the usual. Thanks so much. Toodaloo. Bye for now. Fuck this place.